Today's topic. This was actually requested by one of our community members. And he wanted to know about a situation that he found himself in yesterday. And he said that he was out with some friends, but his friends were having a hard time with talking to girls and with getting any attention because, well, not going to sugarcoat this because he was doing such a good job. Because I've taught him all this stuff and how to actually go out and talk to people and turn yourself into an energy monster. And that is maybe a topic for another day. I don't know. If we have time, I might get into that today. But learning how to become an energy monster. But then what do you do if you're not that guy, right? If one of your friends or one of your buddies is out there and he's running really good game everywhere you go. How are you going to deal with high competition dating? And honestly, the best thing for you to remember whenever you're dealing with situations like this is that it can feel very disheartening to be out in a situation where you're meant to be talking to girls, you're meant to be meeting girls, you're really trying to, but someone else is just stealing all your thunder and they're taking control of everything. And it can really get you down whenever you find yourself in situations like that. You need to remember that you don't need to succeed with every girl out there. In fact, you only need to succeed with one to have a really great night. So, focus in on who it is that you think you're going to click with the most. Now, if you've already gone through the foundation document, if you've already figured out what you're going for, what type of relationship you're looking for, what types of girls you're looking for, then this will be a lot easier for you because you'll be able to pinpoint exactly which types of girls are going to best suit your style. But then you need to really focus in and figure out who is it that I want to talk to? Who is it that I want to have an interaction with? And then you should start trying to talk with her with a focus on getting her away from the energy monster. So you want to isolate her away. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean isolate her away from everybody. But the more that you are next to the energy monster, the harder it's going to be for you to stand out and actually get her interested in you. The unfortunate reality is that whenever you're with people who are just so outgoing and so gregarious, and they tend to take up the energy in the room, then it can make it a lot harder for introverts and for quieter guys to stand out and actually get some attention from the women as well. And hopefully your friend will know how to kind of wing you into situations and help propel you into good situations. But if he doesn't, or, maybe it's just a natural state of being for him and he doesn't realize what he's doing, that's okay too. You just need to figure out how you can isolate the girl away from him. Now that could mean, if you're like out at a bar or something, that could mean taking the girl to go get a drink at the bar, right? And say, hey, let's go grab a drink. Or, oh, it's a bit stuffy in here. Let's step outside and get some air. Or, I'm going to go outside and smoke. Come with me. Come, let's talk. Those things are going to work really well for you because once you get her separated from the energy monster, then now you can become the center of attention much easier. By the way, I see the kid in there. The kid, can you hear me okay? I'm not... I've got your cacao open. Yeah, okay, good. All right. Awesome. Yeah. So, as you can see, I've set up the new microphone in here, and hopefully the sound is coming through a little bit better quality than it did off the webcam. In any case, right, so isolating the girl is going to be key to helping you communicate with her better and really start to build a connection. If she's getting distracted every 30 seconds to a minute by whatever the energy monster is doing, then it's going to be really hard for her to focus on you and to connect with you. However, if you can get her into a quieter environment, into one where maybe now you are the higher energy person in the group, then it's going to go much better for you. And you're going to have a much easier time connecting with her and really being able to interact with her well. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can start learning to become more outgoing and more like the energy monster. That is a little bit more difficult to learn how to do because it is partially personality, right? It's partially just who you are naturally. But on top of that, there are strategies and different things that you can do to help you become more of that focus, that center of attention. A lot of the things that you can do, though, are basically just take whatever you're doing and make it more interesting, more exciting, louder. Your highs are higher, your lows are lower. Doing things like this really brings people in because they love drama. They love roller coaster rides. They love these ups and downs. That's why people watch that stuff on TV and movies. They love having something that is out of the ordinary. It's out of the norm. And the more normal you are, the more common you are, the more boring you are. So by breaking out of your own internal shell a bit and realizing that it doesn't matter what other people think. In fact, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about, right? I think that's an old Oscar Wilde quote. And that absolutely stands true in game and in dating. Because if people are talking about you, even if it's bad things, even if they're like, oh, that guy, he's such a crazy person. Can you imagine? Can you believe him? Da, da, da. Okay, they're still talking about you. They're focused on you. And even negative emotions can be very useful for getting people to pay attention to you. And then once they're paying attention to you, then you can win them over with your charm, with your charisma. But the first step is getting their attention. And that doesn't mean that you have to kick the door in every time that you walk into a room or announce your presence or anything like that. It just means being a little bit larger than life, a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more special than most other people are. And you can create that. In fact, you can create an entire persona around that type of energy. That you want to be that person, great, then you can create that. You're going to have to break your mental shell, though, because everybody has that nagging part of your brain that's like, oh, I shouldn't do this. What would people think? What would they say? Won't someone please think of the children? And you start to get that nagging feeling in your head. That's totally normal. Everybody gets that. It's the same thing that you get whenever you first try to approach a girl, right? And you're like, oh, but what if, and then tell that part of your brain to just shut the fuck up. Because honestly, it doesn't matter. What other people think of you, what other people are saying about you, none of it matters a bit. And so once you break that thing, once you break your mind out of that prison of worries and anxieties, then you'll be able to open up and do more things and have more fun. And people love fun. People want to be part of the fun. They want to join you. They want to become part of your group. They want that stuff in their life. They want the fun. And so, whenever you do find yourself out in situations where there is an energy monster, especially if it's in your group, because if there's an energy monster on the other side of the bar, it kind of doesn't matter to you, but if near you, in your group, there's an energy monster, it's funny thinking of children. That feeling didn't fully exist when we were one. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure I understand what you mean. What feeling? Oh, I see what you mean. That feeling of shame, of like, oh, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't say this. But yeah, that's true. And that is actually a really good point. Children don't feel shame. They don't feel embarrassment. It's something that you learn later on in life. And it's honestly, it's a negative thing, right? It's a bad thing. Having that shame and embarrassment that stops you from doing things that you want to do is not a good thing. So yeah, actually being more childlike can really help you in that regard. If you need to break out of your shell, if you need to open up a bit more, start acting a little bit more childlike and doing things like a child would do. Not necessarily doing childish things, but if a kid wants to go up and talk to someone, he does, right? He doesn't think about it. He doesn't worry about it. Oh, what will they think of me? He doesn't care, right? He's a kid. He just goes up and talks to somebody. And so by adopting some of that mentality, some of that childlike mentality, that playful energy, and and the ability to just do whatever you want, whatever feels right to you, you can start to do that, and you start to become your own energy monster. This is one of the reasons that kids are so good at getting attention, because they don't care about other stuff. They don't care if they're interrupting your conversation. It doesn't matter to them one bit. And they also don't have fully formed brains, right? So they actually do still think that they're the center of the universe, and they aren't considering other people. You can keep that part of your brain, but still use that mentality to help you break out of your shyer habits, of your natural kind of protection of your brain, where it tells you not to do stuff. And by doing that, you start to become more energetic. You start to become more fun. You're more fun to be around, because people with lower inhibitions are usually pretty fun to be with. And so by removing some of those social inhibitions, some of the things that you feel like, oh, well, maybe I can't do that, but you can, then you can start to break those social norms. And by breaking social norms, you become different. By becoming different, you become interesting. By becoming interesting, you get attention. And so that's honestly that's what I would advise, is to maybe not as much as I usually am when I go out, because I get that that's very much a personality thing. But anybody can still up their outgoing nature, even if it's very low right now. You could easily double or even triple the amount that you're out there doing stuff, and that's going to make you stand out, because most people don't do that. Most people don't think about any of this stuff. They just they go along to get along, and they just hope to get lucky, hope that some girl is just dropped in front of their lap and likes them enough to stick around. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to wait and hope and wish. You can just go out and start making things happen for yourself. It is a lot more fun. It's a lot more interesting, and people are going to love you more for it, if I'm being entirely honest. People like different. They like fun. They like energy. So that's how I mean, obviously not me, because I don't have to deal with higher energy people very often. Actually, that's not entirely true. There have been some people out at bars who are higher energy than me, but it's very, very rare. It's very rare. And whenever I see that, I actually respect it. I'm like, great, you're doing a good job, man. In fact, let's work on this together. Let's team up. Because whenever I see other people with that kind of energy, that kind of presence, where the room focuses on them, then I want their energy to rub off on me as well. The same way that whenever people hang out with me, they want the fun and the positivity and all that stuff to rub off on them, and to give them what is it, the halo effect, where when you're with that kind of person, then it makes you seem more of that thing. And so absolutely, you should use that. Use the energy monster to help you. If you're not the energy monster yet, use him to help you make inroads with girls, to help you get interaction started, to help you get some focus on you, and then start to isolate the girls, take them to the side, have a chat with them there. And you should be able to do very well by just using his energy and his charisma and draw to get people focused in on you. All right. I know that this is a little bit shorter than our normal lesson, but borrow his fish hat. Yeah, here, I'll get Freddie for you. Yeah. There we are. Okay, here you go, Coot. I got Freddie up in here. Yeah. And yeah, borrow his fish hat. Use whatever tools there are at your disposal, and use them to the best effect that you possibly can. So with that said, I think we're going to go ahead and end the lesson portion of today's video. So I hope that this has helped you guys a little bit. And so if you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, go ahead and click the link below and you can join our community where you'll have full access to the replays here, and you'll have access to dozens of other guys as well who are going through similar things, who have similar questions. You'll be able to see the proof hat is magic. That is true. It absolutely does, Paul. Last night I was out with Paul and some of his friends, and Paul was wearing Freddie's twin sister, Fanny, the bluefish hat, and I'm sure that you just cleaned up after I left. Right, so join the community. Join these guys. Join Paul and Coot, and come and chat with us in the Discord chat, and you can request videos. You'll also get access to, over 100 other videos that we have in there. The replays for these, the full replays with the Q&As. And today we are going to be doing a lot of questions, I think. We got through a lot last week with Rich and Paul. And today I think Papa Jack is on his own. Everybody's still a bit worn out from the last week. We've been going hard. So, for those of you watching this replay on YouTube, go ahead, click the link below, join the community, and I'll see you inside.